What if the only thing separating someone who completely transforms their life from someone who stays stuck is just a few minutes each day? It sounds kind of crazy, right? But today, we're going to break down exactly why the smallest, most consistent things you do can compound into results that seem totally impossible from where you're standing now. We are going to uncover the hidden math behind momentum.
So let's just start with the big one, the question that really gets to the heart of it all. Why do so many of us fail to achieve our goals? I mean, we've all been there. You set the goal, you feel that rush of motivation, and then, poof, it just fizzles out. But the reason why isn't what you probably think it is. It's really not about a lack of discipline or some kind of superhuman willpower.
The real reason? It's simple. They quit. And honestly, the most painful part about it is that they often quit right before everything is about to click. People give up not because they're weak, but because they are looking for progress on the wrong timeline. They completely misunderstand how real, meaningful change actually happens. Okay, so let's get into this. We can call it the timeline illusion. See, every single significant transformation happens in two distinct phases. Phase 1 is completely invisible. You feel like you're getting nowhere. But phase 2, well, that's completely unavoidable. And that gap, that frustrating space between them, that's where almost everybody gives up.
There's actually a scientific name for this phase of invisible growth. It's called the latent potential period. This is that incredibly frustrating time when you're putting in all the work, day in and day out, and you're seeing absolutely nothing to show for it. It feels like you're just spinning your wheels, right? But underneath the surface, something really powerful is building up.
The best way to think about this is the Chinese bamboo tree. For 5 full years, you water it, you fertilize it, you take care of it, and you see zero visible growth. Nothing. It's just dirt. Then, all of a sudden, in just 6 weeks, it explodes 90 feet into the air. So were those first 5 years a waste of time? Of course not. They were absolutely essential. The roots were growing, building this massive foundation strong enough to support the incredible growth that was always coming.
All right, let's move on, because this isn't just some nice story about a plant. This is all backed by some pretty surprising math. The real secret here lies in understanding the incredible power of tiny, tiny gains, the power of just 1%. So, let me ask you this. What do you think would happen if you got just 1% better at something? I mean, anything, every single day for a whole year? Where would you end up? Now, most people might guess, okay, you'd be about 365% better, right? A little better each day. And that sounds pretty good. But the reality? Oh, the reality is so much more dramatic.
The answer is just stunning. You don't end up a few times better. You end up 37 times better. 37! That is the explosive, mind-bending power of compounding. Those small, seemingly insignificant improvements don't just add up, they multiply, because each tiny little gain you make today builds on the progress of yesterday. But here's the really terrifying flip side. If you get 1% worse every day, by skipping that workout, eating the junk food, hitting the snooze button, you don't just stay the same. You deteriorate, almost to zero. See, decline doesn't look like some big disaster. It looks like just this once. It sounds like, I'll start again on Monday. So the crucial point is this. Every single choice you make, no matter how tiny it seems, is basically a vote for the type of person you want to become. Now, you don't have to be perfect. You just need to be consistent enough that the votes for your future self win out over the votes for your old self. The margin doesn't have to be huge, it just has to be there. Okay, so that's all the theory. But how do you actually do this? Let's switch gears now from the math to the single most powerful, actionable secret for building unstoppable momentum. It's called the 2-day rule. This is it. This is the entire system in 3 simple words. Never miss twice. That is the rule. You don't need some complicated strategy. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to commit to this one simple principle. And let's be real for a second. You are going to break your streak. You're going to have an off day. Life happens, right? That's not where you lose. You lose when that one off day turns into 2, and then 3, and then it becomes, I'll just restart next month. The key isn't being perfect. It's the speed of your recovery. Think of it like this. One bad day is just life. It happens to literally everyone. But 2 bad days in a row? That's the beginning of a new pattern. And 3 bad days? Well, that's you forming a new negative identity. The bounce back is where all the magic happens, not in perfection, but in the absolute refusal to let one little slip become a total slide. So what happens when you follow this simple rule long enough? When you just refuse to miss twice, over and over again? Well, you eventually reach a tipping point, a threshold where everything changes and the entire dynamic just flips on its head. This is the momentum threshold. It's that magical point where your snowball gets so big, it starts pulling you down the hill instead of you having to push it. Most of us think discipline is about force, about constantly pushing this giant boulder uphill. But at a certain point, discipline becomes gravity. Your habits actually start working for you. Let's look at a really simple, concrete example. Imagine a writer commits to just 200 words a day. That's it. Not 2,000, just 200. Some days are good, some are bad, some days she might even miss, but she never misses twice. 300 writing days later, she has a 60,000-word novel. Not because of some heroic all-night effort, but because she understood that small, consistent steps will always inevitably lead to monumental results. So let's start to bring this all together. We've talked about the timeline illusion, the amazing math of 1%, and the incredible power of never missing twice. Now, let's talk about the payoff and what this all means for you right now, today.
All right, let's lock in the key points. First, just remember that those tiny, consistent actions are the seeds of massive results. That's the bamboo growing its roots for 5 years. Second, talent is your starting point, for sure, but consistency is the thing that truly multiplies your potential, the thing that makes you 37 times better. And finally, if you forget everything else, remember the one simple rule that holds this whole thing together. Never miss twice.
And so we end with this. A year from now, you are going to arrive somewhere. The only question is where. That snowball is already rolling either toward growth or toward decline. So the only choice left is the one you see on the screen. Are you going to keep saying one day, or are you going to decide that this is day one? You decide.